Want to say welcome. My name is Angela, and I'm a product evangelist for Mylio. And today we're going to be talking about backup, and specifically offsite backup, why it's important, and why you may want to add SecureCloud and Mylio Drive Plus to your Mylio Photos account. Today I'm joined by Lori Rubin, also product evangelist with Mylio. If you're relatively new to Mylio, you might have encountered her through the onboarding process. We also are joined by our head of product, Rich Harrington, and our head of customer support, JC Figueroa. So there are some really knowledgeable people here to answer questions for you as we go along. This session is designed to help you decide if Mylio Drive Plus with SecureCloud is the right solution for you and how to make sure that your important memories are protected. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into Beyond Backup. Today, we're going to cover why offsite backup matters, what you're already getting with your Mylio Photos Plus subscription, and what SecureCloud for Mylio Drive Plus can add for you. We'll go into privacy and encryption, how your stuff is kept safe when you're using cloud storage with Mylio Photos. We'll talk about SyncCollections, which is how you can selectively sync certain things to your cloud storage if you choose to, and some real-world workflows. We'll also do a quick demo of how to set up SecureCloud. So if you haven't done this before, and also with Mylio Drive, if you haven't done that before, you'll learn how to do it today. And we want to make sure that by the end of this webinar, you know why SecureCloud makes sense, why we're excited about it, and how it can help you in your photo management. Before we get started into the meat of today's presentation, I do want to go over a handful of housekeeping things. This session is being recorded, so if for some reason you need to drop off early or you want to rewatch it later because you have a few questions that you want clarified, this will be posted at community.mylio.com, usually within 1 to 2 business days. Lori takes care of our video editing, and she's usually pretty quick, but it really depends on what her schedule is like. And if you have questions during today's seminar, there are great ways to ask. The best way to do that is to use the Q&A pod. So at the very bottom of your Zoom screen, it might be hidden underneath the ... more menu. There is a Q&A place. So go into the Q&A, and that's where you can post specific questions that you want me or one of my teammates to go ahead and answer. The chat's great for other commentary, but it really gets hard to keep track of everybody's questions there. So if you have something specific that you want us to answer, please be sure to use that Q&A, and we'll make sure you get an answer. We're also going to be doing a giveaway today. So if you are interested in winning 1 year of SecureCloud storage with Mylio Drive Plus at the 2 terabyte level, so you're going to get 2 terabytes of cloud storage for a full year. That's over $143 value. Make sure you hang around till the end of this webinar, and we'll do a random giveaway to somebody who is online. You have to be present, and you'll be able to win that. We're also going to have a discount code for anybody else who's interested in getting started with SecureCloud. All right, so the reason that we're all here today is there's a problem that we all have. Hard drives die, computers break, phones get lost, stuff happens, life happens. And most people don't think about backing up their stuff until it's too late. I learned this the hard way, much younger in my career. I had a computer that I was using for work that I wasn't backing up. I was one of those really early people who got to work from home, and I ended up with some catastrophic hard drive loss. It cost my company thousands of dollars to fix. We did get our data back, thankfully, but I learned the hard way that backup is so super important. And ever since then, I've been evolving my process to make sure that my most important stuff is backed up, because it's not a matter of if something's going to happen, it's a matter of when. And if you're lucky enough to have not had data loss by this point, well, you're very lucky. Most of us have had some sort of that by now. So this is something you want to think about before things happen, your insurance plan for making sure that your data is protected. So in order to accomplish this, we use the 3-2-1 backup rule. You've probably heard this before, but here's what it means. Is you want to have 3 copies of your data on at least 2 different types of storage, with one of them offsite. With Mylio Photos, what this can look like is you have 2 local vaults that have all of your media. Those are your 2 local copies. Maybe one of them's on a regular spinning hard drive, one of them's on an SSD or a NAS or some other storage. And then you have that one offsite copy, ideally in the cloud, or maybe a vault that you have at a friend or family member's house that you keep offsite. that gives you protection against most scenarios. If one of your hard drives dies with your photos at home, you have another one there you can pick up. If you have something catastrophic happen at your home or your primary location where you work, that offsite copy is going to save you. So there are a lot of different ways to make 3-2-1 backup work for you. And today we're going to talk about making that happen with regard to your photos and videos using Mylio Photos. So if you're already a Mylio Photos Plus subscriber, here's what you've got going for you already. Mylio gives you a very strong foundation for backup, but what's missing for a lot of people is that third piece, the offsite backup. So with Mylio Photos Plus, you have Mylio Drive. This synchronizes your optimized versions of your photos across all of your devices, and this helps facilitate setting up new devices and making sure your library stays up to date. It also has support for what we call vaults. In Mylio, a vault is any device that holds your entire library. So you can have 2, 3, 4, depends on how concerned you are, as many vaults as you want with Mylio Photos, and Mylio keeps those in sync for you. So if you want to hook up a whole bunch of hard drives and have your library replicated across multiple drives, you can absolutely do that. And that is a great way to have reliable local backup without having to buy additional software or services. And finally, the primary reason most of us have Mylio is because we want to browse our stuff anywhere. Mylio gives you great access to your entire library, even if your library is massive, from any of your devices without having to store everything, say, on your phone or your tablet or whatever device you happen to be viewing from. So Mylio is super powerful on its own, but that one piece that you're missing is that offsite backup. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we do that, I do want to mention Mylio Drive, which is the piece that is included with your Mylio Photos subscription. So if you've not yet enabled this, this is how you do it. You're going to go into the dashboard here in Mylio. These are screenshots. I've already set it up on my machine, so I can't reset it up. But you're going to go to the dashboard, you're going to go to devices, and you're going to click Enable Mylio Drive. From there, you're going to get a pop-up and confirm that you want to enable Mylio Drive by going and clicking this button here. That's it. It's super, super easy. And what happens at that point is Mylio starts synchronizing the optimized versions of your images, which are essentially small RAWs. They're about 5% the size of the original. They can even be printed up to a 5x7. They're excellent for viewing on your various devices. You can share them. You can post to social media. You can post them on the web. They're great quality for most uses. Now, for most people, this might be all you need as far as your access, but it doesn't cover the backup scenario. So because it's only the optimized images and they're only 5% the size of your originals, you may want to consider also adding on Mylio Drive Plus with SecureCloud Storage to take care of those original images. So that's where Mylio Drive Plus with SecureCloud comes in. This is encrypted, private cloud backup, and it's powered by Backblaze. So if you're not familiar with Backblaze, this is an industry-leading cloud storage company. They've got some other great products, but they offer world-class storage for many, many companies, huge and down to individuals. I'm a personal user of theirs. I've been a Backblaze customer for many years, and I can't recommend them enough. So the fact that this is the service that's powering SecureCloud with Mylio gives me a lot of confidence in this. So what it adds for you, if you go ahead and add this onto your Mylio Photos Plus subscription, is it gives you offsite storage for your originals. Where Mylio Drive gives you just the optimized images, this will give you the full resolution photos stored to the cloud. So you can back up everything. You can make your Mylio Drive Plus a vault, or you can use SyncCollections to selectively sync certain things, the things that are the most important to you. It's fully encrypted, and they're encrypted before they even leave your device. So only your signed in Mylio devices can decrypt them. Neither Mylio nor Backblaze can view your data. So it's incredibly secure. It also gives you access anywhere, anytime to your full resolution files, and not just your photos. This is also your documents and your videos. Where Mylio Drive only stores optimized images, Mylio Drive Plus with SecureCloud gives you your full resolution photos, your videos, and your documents that you have in Mylio Photos. So you have access to everything, everywhere, and it's great for people who travel a lot. If you're working remotely, or you simply just want to grab something on the fly while you're out and about. It's privacy first storage that keeps your files safe no matter what happens. So just a quick comparison here on Mylio Drive versus Mylio Drive Plus. So Mylio Drive, as we mentioned here, gives you your optimized photos. If you add on the optional subscription for Mylio Drive Plus with SecureCloud, you'll have your optimized photos always. You're going to have your full resolution originals, your documents and videos, and you have that offsite copy for disaster recovery. That part is huge. Having the convenience of having your full resolution originals available in the cloud is great, but this is the part that really makes the most sense for people. If something bad happens to the place where you typically work on your photos and you don't have another copy somewhere else, they're gone. This is the disaster recovery. So let's talk a little bit about privacy encryption. So with Mylio Photos and cloud storage with Mylio Drive Plus, encryption happens before anything leaves your device. It's unreadable to anybody but you. What that means is you have to have a device running Mylio Photos signed into your account in order to be able to decrypt those media. So you are the only one, or whoever you're authorizing through your various devices, to see that media. And it's not accessible by us at Mylio or by the people at Backblaze. If somebody were to see into your account and look at it on that server, they're going to see a bunch of gibberish files. You have to have the Mylio Photos app with yourself logged in order to be able to read it. So that's really, really important. Are there any questions so far, Lori or JC?
There is a question from Steve. He's asking, he uses Backblaze B2 with his Mylio account. Is there an advantage to switching to the SecureCloud?
At this moment, I would say if you are happy with the service you're getting with the B2, you're probably good because you're getting that offsite storage and disaster recovery. You're just going through a different door to the same building, for instance. In the future, there may be other benefits to having Mylio Drive Plus with SecureCloud that won't be available to other S3 service users, but at the moment, there's really not a big difference.
Hey,
Rich,
Angela, if I might, because we get this on support all the time. So Angela is absolutely correct. The end product that you're getting between Mylio Drive Plus with Secure Cloud and Backblaze using an S3 protocol connection as a cloud device, the end product is the same. The setup is infinitely much easier with Mylio Drive Plus. So if you're someone that hasn't gone through the process and you want to save yourself an hour or two or longer, and perhaps some calls to support if you can't figure it out on your own, just sign up for Mylio Drive Plus. It's just a couple of clicks and you're done. So there's that to be said. Anyway, I just wanted to say that because we get this question in support all the time. And when we show people the difference between setting one versus the other, that's where the difference really comes across.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I've done both, and doing the S3 setup is certainly more complex. And then doing Mylio Drive Plus, I actually did it live on one of our coffee breaks, and it was, Lori, if you remember, it was what, 3-4 clicks and it was done. And we're like, now we have it. It was so simple. So depending on what level you're comfortable with technology, that makes a big difference. All right. So how SecureCloud fits into the 3-2-1 backup? Well, you've probably already guessed it. You have your 2 local vaults, your offsite copy with SecureCloud on Mylio Drive Plus, and that's it. Your workflow stays exactly the same. You don't have to make any other steps. You're not manually copying anything. You're not having to press any additional buttons beyond the initial setup, and it's done. It synchronizes in the background as long as you have Mylio Photos running, and things get backed up. And this is even true when you're out and about traveling. So I have Mylio Drive Plus. I use Mylio when I'm out on the road. And as I have internet connectivity, and it does require the internet and a good connection, it is backing up my files as I go to my offsite backup in SecureCloud. So that is a great level of peace of mind that you don't get unless you have this kind of setup. So let's go ahead and walk through the steps of setting up Mylio Drive Plus. Again, it's really, really simple. And we're just going to go through a few screenshots because I've already set this up on my machine, so I can't do it twice. Again, you're going to go into the dashboard here. Over here on the left, there's your dashboard icon. And you're going to choose either add a device or add vault. And the reason I have both of these highlighted is you have some options when you set up Mylio Drive Plus. You can set it up to sync only part of your library. So let's say maybe you have a 10, 15, 20 terabyte library, but you only want to sync certain things to the cloud, the most important things. If that's where you want to go, I would say just add and choose add a device. If you're wanting to set it up as a vault to back up everything in your library, go ahead and click add a vault. It's, again, 2 doors to the same building, just gives you slightly different setup options. We're going to go ahead and assume we want to add this as a vault to back up everything. And you're going to go in here and you're going to choose Mylio Drive Plus. And you're going to go ahead and choose a plan. So this offers you the option to choose a 2 terabyte or a 5 terabyte plan, and then you can scale up in 5 terabyte increments as you need it. So for most people, 2 terabytes is more than enough. If you've got a bigger library, jump up to the 5. And if you have massive libraries, you can then have 10, 15, 25, 20, 25, whatever you need, and it scales with you. And you're charged at that bracket for what you need. So you don't need to subscribe for more than you're actually using. So you go ahead and say choose a plan. It takes you to our website. You pick which plan you want, activate it, and then you come back in here to Mylio, and you're good to go. It's super, super simple. So I mentioned you can choose what you want to put on SecureCloud. We have what's called selective sync, where you can make portions of your library backing up to the cloud, and then portions that you're like, you know what, this stuff is cool, I like it, I have my local backups, but if I lost it, it's not the end of the world. And then you have your favorite family photos, those irreplaceable vacation photos, those documents, those videos that are one of a kind that you definitely don't want to lose. That's the stuff you want to put into SecureCloud. That's the stuff you want to be available if something bad happens at your home location. So you can choose to store everything in Mylio Drive Plus, so you can make it a vault, or choose that subset. And that's where you can go ahead and control your cloud costs. So maybe you don't want to spend that 5 terabytes a month. You only want to have to pay for 2. You're going to pick 2 terabytes worth of your library and make sure that those most important things are safe and secure. So that's facilitated by using what we call SyncCollections. And these are what makes selective sync possible. They're flexible and they're simple, and they let you pick and choose different portions of your library to store on different devices, including Mylio Drive Plus and SecureCloud, or different hard drives that you have. So let's go ahead and jump over into Mylio Photos and look at what SyncCollections can do. So right now you're looking at my library, and I'm going to jump over to my dashboard and into devices, and I'm going to go ahead and pick my MacBook Pro. Now you'll notice right here, this panel might look a little bit different than what you're used to seeing. You're getting a quick preview of what's coming in our next release. We've made some changes to the device panel. I think you guys are going to really like them, but all of that same information that you have, that's in here too. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on my computer, and I'm going to scroll here to this next panel and go into my device sync policies. And this is where you control what is stored on every single device. And that includes once you have Mylio Drive Plus set up. Again, if I go over here and I take a look at my Mylio Drive Plus and I click on that, you'll see that if I go to device sync policies, I have it set up as a vault. I can change that at any time if I want. But right now I'm going to go ahead and leave that alone. And we're going to look at SyncCollections in the context of my Mac, because the functionality between this and using it with Mylio Drive Plus is exactly the same. So I'm going to go down here to device sync policies, and by default, my Mac is set up as space saver. That means it keeps all of my metadata, all of my thumbnails, and as many optimized images on my computer as it has space. I can override that in a variety of ways to customize what's on my computer. I can change to a different preset, or I can simply leave it at space saver and use a sync collection to tell it to sync certain things just to my computer. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on originals. You can also do this with optimized images, but I'm going to choose originals for this example. And we'll choose add sync collection. And what you get here is everything in your library. So you can then narrow down and pick and choose what you want to have locally, or in this case on my computer, or in the Mylio Drive Plus scenario, what you want to sync to the cloud. This is where you choose it. And you can choose by rating, label, and flag. You can choose keywords. You can choose specific folders, by date, by files, and by categories. So what I think most people are probably going to want to do is have their most important things be on there. So I'm going to go ahead and say I want everything that is a 4 and 5 star. So that tells me these are my favorite things in my library. It's stuff that I've taken the time to add star ratings to, and I want to make sure that those are backed up and kept on SecureCloud. At that point, I would go ahead and click done. I would give this a name and go top rated. You can call it whatever you want, and you can add more parameters here to this and narrow it down further if you like. But I'm going to go ahead and say top rated and save. And now I've got my top rated sync collection, and I would just simply click apply changes. And that's going to tell it to start syncing those additional files to the device that I've selected. It's very, very simple and so incredibly flexible. And it lets you control how much storage you're using in the cloud or on your computer or any other device that you have. Are there any questions on SyncCollections or selective sync before we move on?
I don't see any other questions.
All right. So some real world use cases for having SecureCloud and Mylio Drive Plus. The first one for me, most important outside of disaster recovery, is travel. I like to travel, I like to take pictures, and I like to make sure that my stuff is safe while I'm on the road. Not only that, I do a lot of content creation and I need to have access to my pictures, my older stuff, when I'm out and about. So not being able to, or being able to access everything from all of my devices because I have Mylio Drive Plus and SecureCloud means I have access to all my originals no matter where I am or what I need. I don't have to bring extra drives, and I can access everything while I'm on the go. It's game changing for anybody who travels or is working from the road. As long as you have a stable connection, you have access. Your connectivity is going to dictate how fast things upload and how fast things download, but as long as you've got a connection, you will be able to get to your stuff. The next scenario is disaster recovery. And this is probably the most important. Where travel is the most fun reason, this is probably the most important. Because if one device fails, you haven't lost anything. If your home burns down, you haven't lost your pictures, those memories. There's other things obviously in your home that are precious and that can't save these. But you can make sure that those photos and videos and documents that you've taken the time to painstakingly back up are safe. And that's where something like this comes in really, really helpful. And it takes such a weight off your mind, gives you so much peace of mind. And again, as JC mentioned, the setup for Mylio Drive Plus is very, very simple. You saw me walk through the screenshots. You don't have to have any great technical skill. And once it's set up, it's basically a set it and forget it. Things are backing up in the background and your memories are safe and protected. So you want to make sure that if something happens at home, everything that's important to you as far as your digital files go are safe and recoverable. Finally, there's just so much convenience that can be had from having something like SecureCloud and Mylio Drive Plus. Again, you get your access to your originals remotely. You don't need to have a home computer running all the time. That's one thing in the past, especially before Mylio was super integrated with cloud options, is you had to leave a computer on because you had that peer-to-peer syncing. So you had to always have a computer on at home to access your stuff while you're on the go. Between Mylio Drive and Mylio Drive Plus, you have insane amounts of convenience, and it's great for your phones and tablets when you're not at your home computer. So it's a great quality of life improvement, and most people feel the benefit of that immediately. All right, so we're getting towards the end here, and who should add SecureCloud and Mylio Drive Plus? If you do not already have a 3-2-1 backup scenario in place, this is something you're going to want to strongly consider. If you need to have full resolution access everywhere, this can also help facilitate that. If you are privacy minded, this is going to be super important. One thing to note with a lot of other cloud services, unless you use the encryption option in Mylio, so for the question earlier about using Backblaze V2, if you opted to have Mylio encrypt your files, you have that same encryption. But with third-party cloud services, encryption is not a given unless you check that box in Mylio. Or if you're using something else, another tool to back up, say, your whole computer, that may or may not be encrypted depending on how you set it up. So privacy encryption with Mylio Drive Plus is a given, and it is always encrypted. No one else at Mylio, Backblaze, anybody else but you can take a look at your stuff. And then finally, with SecureCloud, you want a simple workflow with fewer devices running. You don't want to have to leave that computer running at home. This is a great tool for you. So if you meet one or more of these particular bullets, you are a great candidate for having SecureCloud and Mylio Drive Plus. So if you decide you want to add SecureCloud to your plan, we do have a coupon code for you. I'll have this back up on the screen here at the end. So SC10 webinar, that's going to save you 10% on your SecureCloud plan. So if you're interested, please make sure to grab that coupon code, and it scales to match your needs. 2 terabytes is $11.98 a month. 5 terabytes is $29.95 a month. And again, it scales up from there. So if you need 10 terabytes, then you're looking at just shy of $60 a month and so forth. So you pay for what you need and you put what you want in that cloud storage. You are not required to put everything. You can if you absolutely want to, but you don't have to. So just to kind of recap, offsite backup, in my opinion, is essential. Whether you do it through Mylio Drive Plus and SecureCloud, or you use something like the Backblaze B2 S3 integration with Mylio, or you have another service that you use to back up all of your digital files. However you want to do it, offsite backup is so very important, especially when you hear about fires and floods and all of these things that can happen. You want to make sure you have a copy that's not where you're usually working. That'll give you a ton of peace of mind. SyncCollections give you precise control over what's stored in your cloud storage. Not all cloud storage gives you that kind of option or that kind of flexibility. Most are going to be an all or nothing. With SyncCollections, you have precise control. And then again, with SecureCloud, you have confidence, convenience, and protection. So with that, I do want to go ahead and do a giveaway. We have a 1-year subscription for 2 terabytes of SecureCloud. It's going to be just over $143 value. Lori, do we have a winner?
We sure do. So with the random so randomly we picked a name, and it's Dennis Thomas. So congratulations, Dennis. If you could either send me a private chat here with your email address, or send me your email address directly to Lori@mylio.com, Laurie. I'll get you that code, and congratulations.
Awesome. Congratulations, Dennis. I hope you find it useful, and please feel free to reach out in the community. Let us know if you have any questions or any concerns, and we'll do our best to address those. Again, we have that 10% off SecureCloud subscription for everybody who's here today. You can use SC10 webinar at checkout. That'll give you 10% off of your subscription, whether you do the 2 terabyte, the 5 terabyte, or more. Gives you that 10%. So that's actually a pretty nice deal too. And we don't often run discounts on SecureCloud. So this is a special thing just for you guys today. Are there any other questions that I need to address from the chat or the Q&A?
Yeah, in chat, Steve's got another question. He's asking, can stuff not in Mylio be added to the SecureCloud account, or can it only be accessed via Mylio?
It's only via Mylio. So if Mylio can support it and sync that particular type of file, you can add it to Mylio, and Mylio will use that in SecureCloud, but it is only for using with Mylio.
I will add to that because I was typing a response, so I'll just say what I was typing. That to keep in mind that Mylio can store and help you manage not just photos and videos, but also certain types of documents like PDF, text files, and Office 365 documents like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So I use Mylio for a lot of PDF, particularly documentation for my car, for my cameras, little cheat sheets for my photography, all kinds of documents that are important to me, copies of my passport, my driver's license, my insurance, all of that I throw in Mylio as a document. I have a folder called, wait for it, documents. And I have it set up to be private, so those documents don't just show up. But when I need to access them, they're always there on every device. So whatever device I have with me, I can pull up this PDFs, manuals for my camera or what have you. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Excellent. All right. Any other questions? And before we wrap up, I want to give Rich a chance to add anything. If there's anything about SecureCloud Mylio Drive Plus that I missed that you want to add, this is your chance. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, nothing else today. I hope this was a useful and informative webinar for you. I hope it gave you some things to think about, some of the reasons why you might want to add Mylio Drive Plus with SecureCloud to your account, and if it's a good fit for you. It's not necessarily the perfect solution for everybody, and we want to make sure that you are using the service that you need. So if you have any other additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me in the community. You can send me a direct message there, or you can comment in the quick questions section, or even put a question onto the event from today. I'll do my best to answer that for you and make sure you guys are in good hands. So with that, I want to thank you again for being here. Thank you to Lori, Rich, and JC for all of your help. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you next time.